Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mama's Legacy podcast, and I have just returned from my trip to Denver, and what a treat that was. But a lot of basketball has happened since I've been gone, and let's just jump right into it. First things first, Kevin Durant last night looked like an MVP. He was unstoppable and absolutely destroyed this Bucks team single-handedly. They were down a little bit in the first three quarters, but he really turned it up coming into that late third, fourth quarter. He looked outstanding. He was passing the ball amazing. He was rebounding the ball like we haven't seen him do for a while. He just looked like his old self. Like you wouldn't even know this guy had been injured in the past couple years. And everybody had been saying that they didn't know if he could do it, considering that he's always been on a super team. Was not a super team this time, and absolutely still destroyed this other team, the Bucks. And the Bucks have a big three with Giannis, Middleton, and Holiday. Don't know why I started there, but the Bucks team's also really deep with Tucker, Lopez, and Portis of all people. I mean, this team looked really strong, and this not Nets team, Kevin Durant absolutely destroyed them by himself, and it was something to watch. I think this pains me to say, but I think it's time to say it. Kevin Durant's better than LeBron right now. LeBron is out of his peak right now, and Kevin Durant still looks like he's in his if he's putting up performances like this. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that LeBron comes out next season looking like a younger version of himself. But right now, I think we have to say Kevin Durant's a little bit better. He did this by himself to this Bucks team. LeBron really didn't show out against that Suns team, but that's not the discussion right now. The discussion is Kevin Durant is playing out of his mind. But one downside is Kyrie Irving is going to be out for the rest of this series. I read on ESPN. So if that is true and he doesn't come back this series, this Bucks team still has a chance, but they need to change up some defenses. They need to play harder. They need to play with some heart, and they can't crumble like they did against the Nets last game. This Bucks team has the talent to do it easily, but they need to play better, more consistent, and they need to play better defense. Now they will be playing at home next game, which I think they will win. They will win that. But this game seven, if it does happen in Brooklyn, they've got to be out of their mind. They have to be something we haven't seen from this Bucks team in a while. For another thing I took away from this game is James Harden does not look healthy. He doesn't look like he's going to be ready for a little bit, and it's really concerning to me because I love James Harden now. I think he's changed his game to be an amazing team player, and if he's not back playing like he can, I don't know how far this Nets team can really go because James Harden's the glue guy of this team. James Harden makes everybody on this team better, and when he plays, you're nearly guaranteed to win. But another thing to talk about is when I was down in Denver, got to go see the Nuggets play Game 3 at home, and I was really hoping we'd be able to turn it up. But first things first, love the Nuggets fans, amazing guys, and that playoff atmosphere was outstanding. Now, there were a ton of Suns fans there, which was always fun, yelling back and forth during the game. But it was an amazing experience to go there. But another thing is I also got to see Jokic get his MVP trophy, witnessing history. It was amazing to watch, but this Nuggets team disappointed me. There was a lack of hustle for rebounds. They were all filing out, and that pick and roll that Chris Paul and Devin Booker were running absolutely destroyed this team. Jokic won't step up on those, and even if he did, then Aiton would be wide open at the rim. So it's a lose-lose right there. But they did not learn how to adapt and play better defense on the pick and rolls. MPJ was scared to step up and guard the either Chris Paul or Devin Booker, and that showed. But MPJ did also turn up, considering this is a lot of playoff minutes for a young guy. He turned up pretty well. I feel like the reffing was pretty bad, but I still don't think it would have changed the final outcome. I will say, though, that flagrant 2 called against Jokic in Game 4 was absolutely disgusting. There was no malicious intent. Jokic is not a dirty player. His track record shows that. It's been 3 years since he's been ejected, and the league just wants to eject him so the Suns can get this quick and over so Chris Paul can get his rest, which unfortunately Chris Paul has contracted COVID, so he may not be back for a little bit, which is really concerning for the Suns team, and I pray that he gets back, speedy recovery. Praise maybe it's a false test. I really hope Chris Paul can come back because this Suns team has been fun to watch. But that going back to that call on Jokic, There was no malicious intent. Cameron Payne flopped like LeBron would and was on the ground for 5 minutes when he barely got grazed. I don't want to hear it. Yes, the windup was bad, which is why it should have been a flagrant one. It should have been a flagrant one and play ball, but instead the league got real soft there and decided to toss Jokic so the Suns could have the win. Now, do I think that's why they did it completely? No, but I do think it was a disgusting call made just to ruin the Nuggets' chances at all of coming back. But the real guy I'm going to blame for this series is Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon shot terrible from the field this entire series and was a pain to watch. He couldn't hit a shot to save his life. The only shots he made were off Jokic's passes. So if Jokic is letting Aaron Gordon score, give him his MVP award next year too, because Aaron Gordon struggled so hard this series. It was painful watching him. A lot of the other guys stepped up. Morris stepped up. Barton stepped up. I was a huge fan of Barton. Cambazo played solidly this series considering how many minutes he was getting. This MPJ again stood up. I think he's 2 years away from becoming a second star, even third if he decides to stay with this Nuggets team. They will be unstoppable. Him, Jokic, and Murray. But at the end of the day, I think it just comes down to Murray wasn't playing, and that really showed and hurt this Nuggets team. I think when Murray comes back, they'll be in the conference finals for sure, and I think they could even be in the championships competing. And I really hope I get to see that. Another thing to talk about real quick while this is playing, Scott Brooks has been fired, and Steve Van Gundy. Both of them are going to be out, and that's not good. I'm a big Van Gundy fan, so that's definitely not good. But on the Wizards side, it might be a good thing. I don't think Scott was a good coach for them. I don't think he's ever been a good coach. But Van Gundy I really like, so you know what? Maybe it was good. But another thing, real quick, Kawhi Leonard is going to be out tonight against the Jazz with a knee injury. And there's speculation that he might have damaged his ACL. And if he doesn't play this series, it's over. It's completely over because Pandemic P, he's had 2 good games lastly, but that's because they've all been defending Kawhi because Kawhi has been eating them alive. But if Kawhi is not there and they get to focus on Paul George is dropping 15 points. He's very unclutched come playoff time. But for real, though, enough Paul George slander. This is a big loss for the Clippers, and I pray that Kawhi makes a speedy recovery. I really want to see Kawhi back in action. I'm not one of those guys that enjoys seeing good players get injured. I really want Kawhi to come back, and I don't want it to take a step out of his game because Kawhi is one of the funnest players to watch because he actually plays defense. His defense is amazing. I think that goes without saying. But again, prayers out for Kawhi. But again, thank you guys for tuning in to this quick episode.